I was a young 20-year-old girl, and I've fallen pregnant with a black guy. Their first initial reaction is just a quick backstory, because I had fallen pregnant a year before and they had made me get rid of it.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to 30 Years and Running. I'll be your host, Christian, and each week my friends and I will be looking at life seen through the eyes of 30-somethings. Whether it's things like dating, social media or mental health, we'll be looking at the past, present and future of being in your 30s.
Yeah, so we don't do creeps, do we?
I mean...
No, we don't.
We might talk about it in a second.
We're not doing no creeps.
No, we try and avoid creeps anyway.
Yes, exactly.
That's the plan, but...
Creepy men, creepy women. Because it can come in all shapes and sizes.
Cheers to not having any creepy men and creepy women.
Yes, exactly.
Right. I think that's probably a good place to start, actually. So, welcome to 30 Years and Running. I've got a new guest on the sofa today. I've got the lovely but also very nervous Esther on the sofa today.
Extremely nervous.
How are you doing today?
I'm okay. I'm grinning like a Cheshire cat right now because I'm nervous.
I was about to say, well, hopefully that grin kind of like lasts like the next 30 minutes or so. But,
yeah.
How are you today? Apart from the nerves, like how is Esther today?
Feeling a bit drunk.
Oh,
no, I'm joking.
Not my fault, by the way. Your fault. So, you know.
He asked me to bring the rosé.
I didn't. I said I had the Blossom Hill here, but you're like, no, darling,
please,
I need the Whispering... Excuse me, I need the Whispering Angel.
No. It's not I need the Whispering Angel. You need the light blush, not the pink, bright... Oh, hold on. What colour is yours? Can we just... Yeah. This is all about this.
Because I'm not bougie. I'm salt of the earth. I'm South London, man. I don't care. Like
I'm north of the river.
Man's just got his... Man's just here. Why? You know what I'm saying? I don't need the Whispering Angel, bro. Anyway... Yeah, wine aside, I think we're all good, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
So today we're going to be talking about interracial dating. So anybody who might not be aware, it's dating outside of your race. And it was one that came up. So basically, just so you know, like the context of this is like sometimes I'll just ask people on Instagram like what topics we should focus on. And this one came out quite a lot actually. I think I must have like a lot of people who do interracial dating. So thought we might cover it. And I think it's quite an interesting one. Probably can be quite a sticky one for people to talk about in some instances as well. So thought, why not? Let's tackle it.
Yeah.
So I think first and foremost, I guess, what's your kind of general preference when it comes to race of men?
Well, I do love a black man.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Father. No, I'm joking. Okay.
But it's not just something that I've just come about to loving, if you know what I mean. Because, you know, some people come into it later on in life and decide they love it, but
you're desperate to say like once you go black you never go back.
No, I'm not going to say that. No, because it's not always the case, and I've heard stories. But it is generally the case. Later. But but no.
So it's always been your preference. I guess.
Yeah. So even from a young age, I think my first boyfriend was a black guy.
Yeah.
That lived in my area, and. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's always, I wouldn't say preference. It's just something that I'm attracted to, and I was literally going to say, because I think, so some of the women who I've spoken to, for them it is kind of, so a lot of the times it's like the physical thing, right? So it's kind of like the usual, like, it's a little bit taboo, it's a little bit kind of dangerous, but like kind of more bluntly, it's like, has he got a big dick? Or like physically, he's like... Well, can I just tell you right now...
Here we go. Straight from the horse's mouth.
Not every black guy has one.
Of course.
Just saying that and putting it out there.
No, I think that must be true as well.
But majority has been. But But on the
there
are the majority that aren't.
But on the flip side, right, I'm sure there's some white guys who've got big dicks as well.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly. So
not that I would know because
your preference is
my
black.
preference is black, exactly.
Fine. But yeah, I just think it's just one of those things where, you know, people kind of feed into the stereotype. Yeah. Granted, it's like a nice stereotype to have, but it's also one which is just a bit like...
And also, really big ones is not that great either.
I was going to say...
You need to have the perfect one.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, having too big of one, it sounds good in theory.
But
in principle...
logistically and...
yeah, the logistics aren't really that great.
It's not that great, but the perfect ones, they come about quite frequently in black men, I would say. In my experiences.
Shout out to my people with the
always.
Always, no, okay. So, okay, so for you, there's obviously like the physical element, right? But I guess just from your own experience, it's more you've just kind of got on with them better, and like you say, like you're kind of, or they're more drawn to you, just in your kind of previous history, I guess. So
yeah, well, there's a story whenever I'm with my girlfriends and we're in a club, and sometimes it'd be
Jerome wants to holler at you.
It's like a predominantly
And
white club,
Jerome,
and you see
Leon,
the group there, and then my friends would be like, watch that. Watch Esther. Watch how it all becomes two becomes one, and I'm just like,
two becomes one.
And I'm like, don't be so stupid. It's ridiculous. Not every black guy's like me. And then by the end of the night, you're just like, oh yeah, he's chatting to me. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, there you go. So you have a leg to stand on.
So
basically.
I don't have a leg to stand on. It's not always preferably the right type of guy that comes my way, but it's always, usually a black guy or not even just like
someone
mix
with like
of darker skin, dark features, and everything like that. So.
Oh. Cool.
So yeah, I am particularly. They are drawn to me.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say because everyone has their own physical attributes that they like in a woman.
But I mean, I will speak for the majority of black guys. Maybe not the majority, but for a lot of black guys. I mean, we are drawn to certain physical features, right? We're talking off air. We like the bunda, we like a big bunda, and we like a girl who's got a bit of kind of, she's got a bit of meat in her bones. Yeah. To be pretty bluntly, so yeah, I kind of, you're a nice thick girl. Yeah. I'm not surprised. To be fair.
Thick,
anyway,
thick all the way.
No, you're thick. 2 C's. I'm not saying CK. I'm saying 2 C's.
Oh dear. Yeah.
So anyway, sorry, this is all like really crucial. We're actually going to talk about some semi-serious stuff today.
Yeah.
And I suppose you've got 3 boys, right? Mm-hmm. 3 mixed race boys?
Mixed race boys, yeah. Half Ghanaian and half Moroccan Israeli.
Yeah, and Jewish as well.
Oh, and Jewish, yes, that's religion side of things, and half Christian from the African side.
Yeah, so basically, I suppose, and again, we were talking off air about this. I think a lot of interracial couples, like they have it a lot more kind of, for lack of a better phrase, they have it a lot more black and white in terms of they might just be kind of black, white, Christian, right across the board.
Yeah.
And maybe like 1 or 2 like nations within there, so maybe like English on one side and Jamaican on the other side, for example. But obviously, you have a lot more kind of cultural variety in your kids.
Yes.
How has that been with kind of like your family and friends in terms of like kind of navigating like that? Has that been kind of like historically a problem? Like any particular stories that you might want to share around just some of the kind of the hurdles you've had to jump?
Well, I've got a 17-year-old, so there's a lot of stories. So maybe specifically starting from the very beginning, when I was a young girl. And obviously I was a young Jewish girl that had a black boyfriend and suddenly pregnant.
Yeah, and the thing is, just quickly, like that's hard like in 2022, right?
Yeah.
Let alone, how long, 17 years ago? But, we're talking like...
2004.
Yeah, and it's not exactly like the Dark Ages, I guess, but the world's changed quite a lot in 17 years,
exactly.
Right? So...
But the thing is, I've grown up in this Jewish community and this religion. So for me to be with a black guy, considering my family has done everything in its power to keep me within the community, but I've still found my way out of it, as I would put it. But I think it's not even because I was rebellious or anything like that. It was just that I was always attracted to it.
Yeah, I was about to say, you said it, like,
it's from such a young age. It's like inbred in me and what I like and what I'm attracted to.
I do think, just quickly, sorry, I'll let you finish in a second, but I do think it's interesting that you've kind of grown up in this, I suppose, this close-knit Jewish community, but yet you still feel that kind of urge, or, you still feel this kind of desire to just find love outside, or just find love to who you're attracted to. Yeah. Whereas I think a lot of people, they would almost kind of feel worried about doing that, I guess. Like they'll want to just play it safe, stay within, whether it's the Jewish community or whichever community, just stay into their own race. Yeah. So I do really admire you for like just literally just following your heart, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, I've always
been... I'm sure you've probably had some opposition from friends and family because of that as well.
Like all throughout growing up. But I think as now I've got my 3rd child, that's also mixed race, it's kind of got to a point where my family is like, wow...
she's a lost cause.
She's a lost cause. There's no saving her. But there's no need to be saved. At the end of the day, I've always been a person, even from such a young age, I've just always thought, be true to yourself and go for what you want and believe in, basically. Yeah. And I believe in black men. I'm joking.
I literally wanted to stand up. I just wanted to just go like that.
You know, just do it.
Like, I might have to clip this with like, say it loud. I'm Bracken, I'm proud.
But you know, it's just I'm not gonna stop myself from doing something that I want and love.
Yeah, of course. I think, do you know what? Like, so my stance in this, right, is like, as always, when we chat about anything on the podcast, is just do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Like, and we might do an episode on this as well. If you're happier kind of dating within your own race, then fine. If you're more comfortable.
But the thing is, half the time they're not really. It's usually it's what is it called? Instilled. Like it's like instilled in them such a young age that they feel like they have to, because there's so many people that I've met, because obviously in my industry I speak to a lot of females, and
Esther's in the beauty industry, by the way.
The beauty industry.
Yeah. She's basically a celebrity. She's got 10,000 followers.
No, I'm not. Honestly.
Sorry, anyway.
He's literally my fan. He's my only fan base.
Oh, you got only fans, yeah? Okay.
No, my only fan, as in my one only fan. Like, you're my one and only.
I'm just taking this. Anyway, sorry, come.
So, you know, and have a lot of women in that community that have been married for years and years, and they've done it just to please the community. And yes, they were happy, but now they've like been divorced or whatever's happened, they actually can find their true self, and they're actually going in a path that they want to go in. And it just shows that when you're brought up in that, you feel like you have to do this and have to do that and have to be with a certain person. I still get told to this day, why don't you just find yourself a nice Jewish boy?
Yeah.
I'm like, are they over 6 foot? Do they have hair? Do they have dark skin?
Oh, sorry, perfect size dick, not too big.
Yeah, perfect. You know, do they have dark skin? You know, and the thing is, my children are actually black Jews, so had there been more black Jews back then maybe I'm more susceptible to go into a black Jew, but there's not a lot of them. So I feel like I'm the one out there spreading, you know, my seed with them.
Spreading your seed.
My seed, their seed, improving their seed. I was about to say,
you know, like, you're cultivating the seeds.
Yeah, or mixing with the seed.
I don't know how. I need to go back to my genes
reproduction.
Yeah, osmosis. I'm just throwing words now.
Whatever, mixing the black with the white to make.
Basically, you're improving race relations.
Yeah, and I feel like it needs to be more diverse out there, because I don't feel like, because Judaism is just a religion. I know it's also classed as a race, but it's still a religion. Anyone, skin colour, religion, race, whatever, can be that religion.
Well, there's one race, right? It's the human race.
Exactly.
But it just so happens that, you know, we've got different colours, and for some bizarre reason.
We are the human race, and that is one race. And there shouldn't be a black race, a white race, a Chinese race, a Indian race. It just...
I mean, there shouldn't be... Yeah, the reality is, I think... Yeah, there is, and there's always going to be opposition to, like, interracial couples and all that kind of stuff. So I guess, like, just on that point, I guess, like, how's it been for you? Like, I know you're not with your the kid's dad at the moment, but like, how was it like when you were with him? And did you ever kind of get any like funny looks and stuff like that, or comments from family, or just
back to the first, like the story that I was going to tell you way back 17 years ago, because we kind of like
sidetracked you. That's my
we
bad.
love to chat too much with you. So
go for it. Sorry. Anyway, the floor is yours. I'm going to shout now. I'm going to drink my cheap wine.
Okay, cheap wine. Making me out to be bougie. Anyway, so back then, obviously, I was a young 20-year-old girl, and I've fallen pregnant with a black guy. Their first initial reaction is just a quick backstory, because I had fallen pregnant a year before, and they had made me get rid of it. Like their family, my family, all went. So when I was 20, when I had my first son, I felt I couldn't speak to them about it until I was so far gone that they couldn't do anything about it.
Right.
Because I felt like the choice was taken out of my hand. I was so pressured. And because being a teenager, I was like, I think I was 19. Being a teenager and having that pressure on you when all I am, because you know me, I'm quite maternal, and you know, I'm all for having babies. I love a baby, you know, not having so many babies, but you know, I love a baby. But I wanted to make that decision myself, and I felt to keep it a secret for so long because I knew what they'd come at. They'd say things to me like, you know, your child's not going to have the life that he wants to have, or I'd be like, what do you mean by that?
Do you know what, it's so mad that you're talking like that as well, in terms of, you know, this is 2004. I know it's not 1950 whatever, but it's just kind of crazy to think that these conversations were happening 17 years ago. And if we're really real about it, like, these conversations are still happening to this day. Like, interracial dating, for whatever reason, is still like this kind of taboo thing where, you know, it's this thing where sometimes you're seen as like a race traitor. In the most kind of extreme example. In other cases, it's more subtle, like, oh, your kids are going to be like a little bit darker than you are. In the case of, if we're thinking like royal family vibes, it's like that. But it's still like, it's still mad to me that, you know, people aren't seen as just the human race. We're kind of divided, and we're kind of categorized by the color of our skin.
Which is wrong.
As naive as that sounds, it's still mad to me, to be honest.
I still can't believe it's like that till this day, to be honest. With everything that goes on in the world, and with every race, even sexuality, everything like that at the moment, this really shouldn't be an issue. But back then, 17 years ago, it was slightly different. And when I came out and told them, and the reason why I told them is because I actually had to go into hospital to have an operation whilst I was pregnant. They couldn't understand why they'd keep me in for so long when it's a day operation, but they didn't understand that I was actually pregnant at the time. Oh my God, did it kick off in the hospital? Like, it was like a scene where the nurses actually just had to say, like, you lot all need to leave and leave her be, because it was that bad. Because it was more my family, because they were shocked, disappointed. Firstly, I think because I'd lied to them for so long, for 6 months, which is my own thing. I know it was bad, but, you know, I knew what they were going to say to me.
Yeah. And then the cherry on top was down you're dipping in the chocolate.
Yes, dipping in the chocolate. I don't know if my grandparents would have put it like that.
No. Might be a bit more X-rated than that.
Yeah, and it was just very much like, you're ruining your life with this and that. But things, I knew my business, and I knew the industry that I'm in, I would always be able to make money with a baby along, whether the dad was there or not, whatever. But it just felt right to me to keep him, and it wasn't to do with the colour of his skin, but I knew with my family, it was like, how's he going to live? Like, what kind of future will he have? Because he won't know where he's placed. He won't know whether he's white, black, or whether he's even Jewish. I'm like, but he'd be Jewish and he'd be mixed. It's just what it is. That's how I saw it. I couldn't see. The thing is, I could never see how they saw it.
Yeah,
you know, and it's hard for me because I've never seen it like how all these other people see it, because it's just never been in my mind like that.
Yeah, and I guess it's like a generational thing as well, right? I'm sure if you ask, not even just white grandparents or your grandparents, I'm sure if you ask my grandparents as well, like, their kind of views on race are, you know, they've seen a lot of different stuff to what we've seen, and they've seen, you know, race relations probably, you know, at its height in terms of like how kind of divisive it's been. Yeah. So I think I guess we're pretty fortunate that, you know, to an extent we've kind of your face was priceless as well. I'm gonna blame that on what's that?
No,
that's glass number 3.
That out.
No, we're leaving that in there. That might even make the social. That might even make the social. I'm joking. Oh, what was I saying? Yeah, but they've seen a different side of the coin, I guess, and I think we've probably been quite lucky to grow up in an age where, you know, obviously racism exists, but it's probably not to the kind of extent that they've probably seen. But I was just thinking, actually, like, so my uncle, he's been with his white wife for probably, it must be like at least 30 years, maybe even longer than that, actually. Mm-hmm. So, like, part of me also thinks like there's kind of like a how can I describe it? It's almost like a strength to interracial couples, especially during that era as well, where you
have to be strong.
Yeah, where you face, like, probably for my uncle anyway, he's probably faced unbelievable pressure internally from our family, externally from his wife's family, and just broader around society. So, like, part of me also thinks, like, you know, interracial couples, you could argue, I'm not saying this, but you could argue like they're kind of like the strongest couples in terms of like the kind of
emotionally and support wise
I think they
for themselves they have for each other would have to be quite high up there for it to last. And because
they have to probably deal with more shit than the average couple.
Someone's drinking the cheap wine too much.
This is the barefoot kicking in. Yeah, probably more than the average couple as well. I'm sure again, we might do an episode on this, but I'm sure you can argue the same way that, you know, a black only couple or an Asian only couple, they have it hard as well. But like, I think you can kind of make that argument for interracial couples as well.
Yeah.
That they're really strong.
But also what I feel like people do tend to say about interracial couples is that it's hard in interracial couples because they've got their own internal struggles. Like, just through my own experience being with a black man, the comments he would throw my way would sometimes hurt me because I'm not like other white people. And so we also have that battle within each other in a relationship. So whereas, yes, you're with, if you've got a black couple, an Asian couple or whatever, that battle, they don't have that against each other because there's always, and the thing is, right? They may not mean to be horrible to you or be nasty towards you or like diss you in a way, because you're not like that. You're not like other white people. That's why you're with that person, but you still get that attack from them. So that's an internal struggle that you have within an interracial couple, which can't be helped. Well, it can be helped, but it's hard for him, and you have to try and understand it. But you know, it's...
But yeah, I mean, the reality is, like, there's... And this isn't me being horrible or anything like... There's just some things... Excuse me. There's just some things that you just won't understand. As like
I totally agree with that.
Going out with a black man.
I get that. But to attack the person and say, you know... But that's what they are. I understand that. And I know that I could never experience it. But I'm not going to be that person to be like that towards you or to any other black person. Yeah. So it's hard to sometimes when you're having arguments like that, to be able for them, you need to, I understand where you're coming from. You need to understand where I'm coming from because I don't think that way. I'm not that person. And it's hard. And like you said, you will never understand. But I get it.
Yeah, my kind of sense is, I know it probably feels like attack. And in some ways it probably is an attack. But I feel like it's more of attack on... like society. It's more him probably saying like, these are my frustrations of being like a black man in the country, as opposed to like digging you out, because you're obviously not racist, because you know
I have black children.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm not going to hate my own children.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
So like my sense is like it's just more of his frustration about the world as opposed to you. He's just like projecting it onto you.
Yeah, but that's the struggle that we have to also put up with within the relationship, that I don't think other relationships have to deal with, and what was, on top of everything else in the relationship.
And what was that like? Did you used to get it a lot? Was it quite like tiring, I guess?
I got it a lot with him. Our relationship wasn't the greatest, so it's probably not the best. I wish I could come here and say to you I had the perfect relationship with him and he treated me with utmost respect. He wasn't like that, but again, he would also use that way he was towards me as a as his culture. That's how we treat women. That's how we talk to women, whether it be abusive or aggressive.
Again, so he's Ghanaian, isn't he?
Ghanaian, okay. Yeah. So the aggressiveness of him and the way he was physically talking could be quite aggressive. So, but he would blame that on his culture,
right?
Which I don't think any culture should, regardless black, white, orange, yellow, whatever. Yeah. You shouldn't physically or mentally abuse anyone and blame it on your culture.
No, that's a really...
So that was something I had to deal with.
Yeah, that's a really lazy and also dangerous way to approach things, because this obviously didn't happen with you, but like the danger what he was doing is like, because you could have quite easily just hated all Ghanaian men off the back of that, and like, to be honest, I wouldn't kind of blame you if you did. Yeah. But I think the fact that he's kind of using his people to kind of cover up his own shortcomings.
Yes, exactly.
I think that's like I say, it's really lazy, it's really dangerous, and I think it's really kind of it's a bit scary as well, to be honest.
But it's something that's why I think when people have this image of people like, for men like him would have this bad image of black men because of comments like that made, you know. So, but again, my relationship's not the best one to really do. That I have my mixed race children, and I've been in interracial relationship because I've had many dates with interracial guys and met amazing black men. Yeah, I've seen this one.
Hi. Yeah.
You know, so I would never. But I think I'm not that person that will. One person treats me one way, I'm thinking all of that same colour or person or religion is going to treat me the same way.
Yeah, sure.
I'm just not that person. Whereas there are a lot of people that will come out and say, well, it's because he was a black man, or
well,
it's because he was this.
Yeah,
but it's not the case. I know people that have had the same situation with a white man.
Yeah, it's funny because I think we're kind of veering into like stereotype territory, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like I've had it. So I'm Jamaican, right? The stereotype.
I can imagine what they've said to you.
Well, you can probably imagine like the stereotype.
Spreading the seed.
Yeah, so that's
probably the
that's
most.
The biggest one.
Yeah.
So like so I've spoken to like white women in the club, for example, and then they'll ask kind of like, so here we
Typical.
go. They'll ask like, where are you from? And I'll be like, I'm from Croydon or Forest or whatever. And they're like, no, where are you really from? It's like, for fuck's sake, man. So I'll say like, I'm Jamaican, and they're like, oh.
I know.
They'll give you
every
that,
time, yeah.
And then they don't need to say anything more than that. I know what they're thinking.
Yeah.
They're like,
and that's just
Jamaican
not
guys.
nice.
No, it's just generalisation, right? You know.
But the thing is, it's a generalisation for men that are brought up in Jamaica. Because in Jamaica, they're a bit more free out there, aren't they?
But the thing is, it's not even. I don't even think it's a Jamaican.
No?
I think it's a guy thing, to be honest. Like,
that's true.
Yeah,
I actually, hands up, would say it's a guy thing.
Yeah,
too.
I think. Don't get me wrong. Like, you know, Jamaican guys like sex, but so do all guys. Do you know what I mean? But I think, just from own experiences, like they just kind of pinpoint. It'll be like the one Jamaican guy who they have a relationship who's got like another baby mum or maybe two baby mums, and automatically it's like all Jamaican men are like that.
Yeah.
So like that, I get it more from like, I think you've had it on the spectrum of it's the kind of the more sinister stuff in terms of like the stuff you were talking about with your sons, but I think I've had it more from like a trivial perspective, like those stereotypes of like
being
Jamaican
out in the
men.
club. But the thing is, it's just not nice to have it, because you just want to sit there and say to them, but I'm not like all of them, but then they'll say, but all men say that.
Yeah, exactly. It's, you know,
and you can't win.
You know, Jamaican men, black men, we're not a monolith. We're not just one thing. Like we're all different. We're as different as any, you know, white or Indian or Chinese man.
The thing is, it's who you're raised by, the area you live in, the people that you associate yourself with as growing up. That is what makes you who you are when you grow up at the end of the day. And for me, I would look at someone of the area they live in and the people they hang around with and take that more into account than the country they've originated from. Rather than...
You'd like to think so, but I think, you know, whether consciously or unconsciously, I think we all kind of like, admittedly, like we all probably think like, oh, this person might be a slightly certain different way because of where they're from. Do you know what I think?
To be honest, I think everyone's so fucked up when they grow up and so much shit happens to them that from what my experience over the years and what I've now come to realise myself is that I can't judge anyone.
Yeah,
really.
exactly.
Because I know in my head, I'm not completely... Well, I know I'm sane. I'm a great mum. And I know... Shut up, you. He's sane enough to have me in his house, so I'm sane enough.
I mean, you know, I've got a shank on me just in case shit pops... Just in case, you know, shit pops off a little bit. I might have to, you know...
Dear.
I'm not actually going to do this, but I'm not going to stab anybody, so please don't...
No,
don't,
he hasn't really got a shank there either. I think it's just what's in his pants.
I mean, you don't know. I might have a shank underneath the sofa, you know, just in case.
No, I've checked
I'm a
it
South
out.
Londoner, you know what I'm saying? So.
South of the river, north of the river, it's all the same.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. We're not even going to discuss this. Let's not even.
But we'll talk about that another day. But
yeah,
I suppose So I've had interracial relationships. Like
But what's your preference from you as a black man?
To be honest, I generally don't have a preference. Like, hand on heart, I don't have a preference. My preference is anybody who I have that spark with and anybody who kind of I get on along with best.
But what are you more drawn to?
Honestly, I'm not drawn to anywhere. I think if you're fit, you're fit. Like, I've gone out and if we get along, we get along. Like, I was telling you about the most recent dates I was having. Like, she was white. The time before that, she was black. And then we had, like, I think about 7 dates or something. I've been out with Indian women, Bangladeshi, kind of Filipinos. So it generally doesn't matter to me. The most important thing that matters to me, I know,
that have meat on them.
I mean, that's important. It's not okay. So that's not like
save lives and all that.
No, I mean they do, but that's not a prerequisite though. That's like a bonus. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, but yeah, it doesn't. It generally doesn't matter to me. But yeah, I suppose my own personal experience of it has been it's been good. Like I only see it as a good thing because, you know, within my friend circle, for example, like it's quite a good mix of
people,
black, white as well. So it's something that I've already kind of grown up with, and that's kind of like translated.
See that, but that's what makes you to be the like the kind of person that people really should kind of look at and think, you know what, not all black people are the same because of skin colouring. Because you're raised in a community that is mixed with all different religions, and I don't know. Do you have Jews in there? Apart from me?
No, I have you. I've got friends. No, stop
I'm
it.
joking.
Trying to make me out into.
I'm joking.
Yeah. No, but I've had Jewish friends. Like in my close circle, I haven't got any Jewish friends.
Yeah.
I don't think, in case I'm missing them, but I don't think so. But yeah, I think because I've always kind of grown up in like a mixed circle, I think that's just naturally translated into like the women that I see as well.
That's why communities like that are Jewish or, you know, Muslim even, they need to kind of mix and allow their children to mix in. Like, I wasn't allowed to. I wasn't allowed to till I was in my teens. So I went to a school and I had to travel to school on my own to Camden Town of all places, where there's so many variety of people there. That I was like, oh my God, look at all these
Look at all the lovely chocolate men. Yeah.
And I was just like, you know, that's kind of how I opened up to my eyes. Obviously, I saw things on TV that I liked, but it was more.
Who's that? Jason Derulo or something like that?
Oh my God!
Who triggered you?
I'm really older than that. Jason Derulo wasn't around.
I was just thinking. No, I was just thinking because there was this picture. I don't know. Well, you probably saw it actually. There was this picture of him like in like some budgie smugglers, and you could kind of see the dick.
To be honest, Jason Derulo doesn't do it for me.
Really? All right. No. So quick aside. Who's your guy? All guys, it could be multiple.
I do love The Rock.
Do you?
But he's not. He's like Haitian, isn't he?
Where is he from? I don't know where he's
Haitian.
He's
Hawaiian. He's from Hawaii. Like Sumo. Samoa, somewhere like that.
Okay.
So so I do love him. Okay. But I think that's just the size. I think I like. Not
like a big
technically. Man. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I like a tall guy as well. But I do. I don't know. Like I used to like.
Like Ghost from Power, didn't you?
Oh my God, I loved Ghost.
Yeah, I thought so.
He was just so short. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, he's
like, it's like 5'9". It's just,
That's not even short. I mean, like in comparison, because you're quite tall. You're 5'8".
But you're like 6 foot, right? So I think that should be an average. I don't know when people say 5'8", 5'9" is average. I
genuinely think it is average for like guys in UK. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm above average then, clearly.
Yeah, exactly. So
clearly, but yeah. So, who's that? Oh, I used to love him, and he was in. I can't remember his name. His name.
What was he? Was he on like? Was he an actor or something?
Yes, he's an actor, and a singer as well.
Nick Cannon.
No, Nick Cannon. No, because I know you look like him.
Yeah, that's the only reason I said it. Someone actually said that to me the other day.
I said that to you. I think when I first ever met you years ago, and I said you remind me of someone. I couldn't place my finger on it.
No, you said Michael B. Jordan.
Oh yeah, Michael B. Jordan. I love Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, he's an actor as well that I love as well. He's
I'll take that all day.
Sorry,
I'm doing a Rye smile to camera because I love him.
Oh my God, what is his name? It's not Frank Ocean.
Frank Bruno.
Not who?
No. You know the boxer.
No. Oh my God, this is I really do my head in. He was in. Okay, I can't think of his name, but I will tell you later.
Yeah, we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I was going to say is
I can see his face in my head now, but I just.
I thought you were going to say you can see him on me, but but yeah, like sorry, I was just going to say so like my own experience of interracial dating it's been pretty good, to be fair, actually. And like I said, I've dated different races.
Yeah, but you're very chilled.
I'm pretty chilled. I think the interesting thing for me is always like the kind of the stereotype aspect of it, and it's less about when I'm going out with someone. It's more like when I'm
meeting them.
Yeah, when I'm meeting them from on like a dating app or something like that. It's the usual kind of like big dick thing. The talking thing as well. It's like they're always kind of surprised that I'm like relatively like well spoken as well. So all these kind of like covert racist, some of them good, some of them not so good things, which are kind of my experience. I remember. It's not
nice, but it just shows that they're a little bit like it's like instilled in them a little bit of how it's like their parents. That ingrained racism.
I remember. Sorry, it just came to me as well. Like I remember. So when I was a grad, I was working at a recruitment company, and there was this kind of like posh white woman who used to work there. She was maybe like I don't know, 5 or 7 years older than me, and we just went to lunch, and she just kind of like walked like that, like not hand in hand. So we weren't going. Yeah, we just like locking arms or whatever it's called. So we weren't going out or anything, and she just started asking me like. oh, do you ever? She's like, do you ever go out with white women? I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, when you walk down the road, do they like stare at you or stuff like that? And this is like 10 years ago. So I just found it interesting because I think, you know, like
Was this recently? No,
this is like 10 years ago.
10 years
This
ago.
is I was working in Farringdon at the time, but
Yeah.
I think it was just quite interesting just to hear because I think for middle class white people and like rich white people, it's still kind of like, you know, it still kind of grates them a little bit. I think royal family is like the obvious case,
like,
but
awful. I just don't understand why they just can't accept that.
Yeah, so I think it's still kind of like it's still obviously an issue, but especially I think when you climb up the social ladder, it becomes more of an issue.
Yeah, but I think now they're having to be more accepting of it. And the thing is, you never know if people are genuinely.
I think they will be.
But the thing is, you never know now if people are really being genuine.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Whether they're just doing it because they have to not say that and do that, but they still feel it. So you never really know if someone's being a bit two-faced towards you because... Like, I can tell you now, if clients are talking to me and in the past they've made comments, but now it's socially not correct to say something, they will be more careful how. So then I'm feeling like they're not being your normal self around me now. So you feel like someone's not being true to you. But then again, it's so hard because there's so many different subjects, not just about being black or white, whatever, but like even the sexualization, even like him and her and he, like you don't know if you're going to the pronouns, you just don't know what you're saying anymore. And so I feel like people are having to be so careful of what to say to people that they're not being true to themselves anymore. And it's hard because you can't express yourselves anymore.
Yeah, because I think, people are feeling like a bit censored, right? And they feel like they have to be like super PC. I mean, there's a point to it, right? I mean, if someone's going to come across and call me coloured or something like that, then I'm going to have an issue with it.
Yeah, of course.
Even though it might come from like a... Yeah. So I remember when I was at uni, like first year uni, like one of the guys who lived next to me, like he said colour, and I was like, going to have to check you for that, to be honest. So,
yeah, like you can't say that.
So... But yeah, I mean, my experience has only been good. I just think it's a good thing, like the interracial dating thing, because I think it's just like a representation, right, of just us all coming together as one race.
To be honest, I think it's the best way forward in life for everyone. If people don't put rules and regulations on religions and who should be with who and who shouldn't be with who, like, we're all human. We all have desires, we all have needs, and we all have wants. And... you know, needs, wants, whatever, we should all be able to have that.
Thanks for watching 30 Years and Running. Please subscribe, comment and share. See you next week. Peace.